If you're a small business owner that's struggling to keep costs down or wondering what on earth every other business owner is spending their hard-earned dollars on, then you've come to the right video. Because in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 3 highest costs that a small business faces. And for those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Pamela Metani. I'm the principal lawyer and founder here at Graphene Business Law, a business law firm providing services virtually and to business owners and entrepreneurs throughout the province of Ontario, Canada. Working exclusively with business owners puts us in a very unique position to be able to put out content like this. And because we've seen it all, we've seen really successful business owners that are super on top of their costs and super efficient with their business. And we've seen, it happens that there are unsuccessful businesses out there. In fact, 75% of small businesses fail in their first 10 years of business, guaranteed. So we've put out content on costs before because it's such a hot topic, it's such a pain point, and it's also, on the flip side, such a passion point for small businesses. There is this thirst of, what are the costs? Tell me what I could be spending money on. Tell me what the potential blind spots could be. Tell me what's the worst case scenario I'm facing. And in today's video, we're gonna talk about 3, and I have a bonus category in there, but we'll say 3 of the biggest cost categories that a small business owner faces. And to be clear, of course, my clients, myself being in the province of Ontario, all of my clients are from the same jurisdiction. That's where we're licensed to practice. And this cost profile could be different for business owners around the world, but I have a feeling that these same big picture items still apply. Okay, so the first cost category and the most gargantuan by far is what? Employees, okay? For small business, statistics indicate that an average of up to 70% of your hard-earned dollars are going to employees. Don't get me wrong, employees, of course, if done right, if retained correctly, and we have some videos in the description box below on how to take on the best employees possible, but employees, if taken on correctly, are going to be the absolute best thing you can do for your business. No business can be successful in perpetuity in one individual's hands. I don't think it can be done. I've never seen it be done. So when we're talking about these big costs, the takeaway is not, man, like that's a junker. I don't need any of my staff anymore. No, of course not. Okay, but this math is still worth addressing, and that's for a small business, an average of 70 to 80% of its every dollar is going to staff. Okay, this truth is also stands for larger corporations. In fact, it's one of the first things we see when companies are in trouble. They start what? Layoffs, right? They start laying off staff because it's such a big cost category and it's such an easy bucket to slash. I'm not commenting on whether it's right or wrong. I know these staff are human beings with families to support and mouths to feed and all of that. So it's not my place to comment on the strategy of cost managing, your specific employees, but it's worth acknowledging that with such a big cost category, you have to consistently be asking yourself if you're getting the most value out of your employees, and not in an exploitative, Mr. Burns kind of manner. Simpsons reference, by the way. Not in a Mr. Burns manner, but in a genuine, are they living their best life with you as their boss? Are you living your best life with this person contributing value to your company? Is this the best individual you could employ? And is this the best relationship, employee, employer, and company that we could possibly have? The second category, I put out a video, one of the first ever videos on this channel was on leases, and it was during COVID, okay, when a lot of leases were in shambles. And I did some research at the time, and it still stands true today. What is it? The second highest cost category for a small business is rent. I feel like this category, out of all of them, has gone through the most transformation during COVID years, because there are entire businesses and entire industries that used to require office space or used to take up office space because it's just what you did, that no longer need like 1 square inch of rented space, okay, of office space. And it's important to have that honest conversation with yourself. If you're industrial, obviously, if you're producing like these mega machineries or whatever the case may be, chances are you're gonna need some space, okay? And of course, there's a lot of businesses to fill in those gaps as well. For example, a lot of the hospitality, a lot of the nails and hair and, you know, makeup and pets and all of that. But also, for every example I just gave, I know at least one entrepreneur giving that service either out of their home or coming to your home. So you need to have a serious conversation with yourself about that cost of rent, what that means to you, and where you're at with that cost category. Do you really need a space to rent? If you do, what's the smallest space you could take on for the cheapest price? Do you really need a downtown space to make couches out of, or can you make it, you know, an hour and a half out of town? Because who cares? So you have to be really careful and really honest with yourself. I think when it comes to cost, and of course on the flip side of the cost we're talking about is an analysis of cost cutting for your business, right? If you're in that difficult situation, or if you just want to be as savvy as you can with your hard-earned dollars. And there's a school of thought when it comes to cost, even for individuals, that you need to look at your big 3, right? So for an individual, the big 3, of course, would include food and shelter. For a business, I'm telling you that the big 3 include staff, they include rent, and the third one is supplies, okay? Supplies, of course, can be converted into inventory, which can be converted into dollars. So supplies coming in aren't necessarily a dead cost, but, you know, and by the way, in our capitalistic market, you should of course be careful as to the supplies you're bringing in, because they're going to dictate the quality of your goods at the end of the day, and what kind of quality do you want to be known for. And of course you can charge more for better quality, and lower quality products can leave a stinky reputation that follows your business for the rest of its time. So supplies is the cost category of the top 3 that you need to be the most careful with, okay? Because the supplies you're bringing in that you transform into that good or product to sell can be what ends up making or breaking your business. So I'm not telling you to, you know, automatically slash your cost of supplies, because that might not work for you. But if it does, you know your business, obviously. You and I have never met in real life. You know your business. And if there's something more creative you can do with supplies, and by the way, thinking outside of the box or thinking creatively means that you can even keep the same quality of supplies. You can even go to a better quality of supplier, but, you know, maybe negotiate bigger orders, right? Or negotiate, sometimes a way to keep costs down is, you know, time of shipping. Like, there are so many terms in those contracts you're going to be signing that of course you can bring here to us at Graphene Business Law to advocate most in your interest. But there's so many terms and so many ways, as the expression goes, to skin a cat, that if cost of supplies is your absolute biggest crisis right now, well, you might even be able to preserve the quality you're at by negotiating some other clauses in the contract that can help your supplier. That way, one hand washes the other, okay? So I said at the beginning that I'm going to be talking about the big 3, so to speak, but that there's a secret category almost of top 4, if you extend it to top 4 costs. And this 4th category is one that you either have or you don't. And if you have it, it's a heavy one. And that category is vehicles, transportation. You're either going to be in this kind of business or you're not. But if your business is vehicle reliant, if it's multiple vehicles reliant, you need to look really carefully at those contracts you've negotiated. If your cars are leased, I know there's a lot of thinking behind leasing vehicles when it comes to your small business. I'm not in a position to advise on that, you know, over the internet. Obviously, if you're my client, we can have a conversation about that. But I will just acknowledge that school of thought. You can also buy your vehicles outright and then do whatever you want with them and earn, you know, side streams of income from what is now your product purchased outright. Again, there's so many ways to skin that cat. there are different kinds of vehicles now with electrical and the conventional gas, and different sizes of vehicles have different needs, and different kinds of vehicles are going to come with different insurance prices, and so on and so forth. But the vehicle category is one where you definitely, if it's something that is, going on with your business, like you need vehicles to survive for whatever reason, whether it's literally a mobile type of business, or whether the vehicles are what you're using to ship your product and transport your product, or anything in between, you need to look carefully at the details and the specs on those cars you're using, and what else is out there on the market, and what would be the most efficient while still, value positive type of vehicle for your business. Thank you for watching. If you found this kind of video helpful, really to the point, but also with some tips on what you can do and what you can incorporate in your own small business after watching this video, please leave us a comment down below. If there's another kind of cost that you think is really worth talking about, let us know. We might even make a whole video on it. So thanks again for watching. Leave us any feedback you had when watching this video below, in addition to, again, your personal experience with costs and running a small business. And if you are looking for help in launching, growing, or maybe even concluding your business here in Ontario, our website is graphenebusinesslaw.ca, and our email is info@graphenebusinesslaw.ca. Thank you for watching.